Have you ever gone to buy something simple and suddenly felt a quiet shock? The price is higher than last month, and somehow your money feels smaller. Even though your salary hasn't changed, you don't panic. You just pause for a second and think, why does everything feel harder now? Maybe you've noticed it in small ways. Groceries that used to last a week now disappear in a few days. A simple meal outside costs more than you expected. Bills arrive and you hesitate before opening them. Nothing dramatic, but something is changing. And deep down, you can feel it. The truth is, life is becoming more expensive, little by little. Not in one big moment, but in hundreds of tiny increases. And most people are not prepared for it. They continue living the same way, spending the same habits, thinking the same thoughts, until one day they feel stuck, not because they are lazy, not because they failed, but because the world changed and they didn't. So here's a quiet question for you. What if surviving in today's world is no longer about how hard you work, but about what skills you build? Not big, complicated skills, simple, everyday skills, the kind of skills no one teaches in school, but everyone needs in real life. Skills that help you stretch your money, protect your time, and stay calm, even when things get more expensive around you. Because right now, there are people earning the same income as you, living with less stress, not because they are lucky, but because they understand something important. When costs rise, you don't just need more money, you need better habits, better awareness, better decisions, better control over small daily actions. And here's the interesting part. Most of these skills don't require talent. They don't require a degree. They don't even require extra time. They only require one thing: a decision to live differently, to pay attention, to question your habits, to stop running on autopilot. Because autopilot is dangerous in an expensive world. It makes you spend without thinking. It makes you accept things without noticing. It slowly takes control away from your life. But awareness? Awareness gives it back. In this series, you're going to discover 8 simple skills, not theories, not motivational ideas, real skills, practical habits, the kind of things you can start using today. Some of them might feel obvious, some might surprise you, but together, they can quietly change how you live and how you handle money, stress, and daily decisions. You don't need to master all of them at once. You just need to begin. So if you've ever felt like life is getting more expensive, if you've ever wondered why your money doesn't go as far as before, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not stuck. In the next part, we'll start with the first skill, a simple shift that can immediately change how you see your daily spending. If you want to slowly build real-life English while learning something that truly matters, stay with this story. And if this idea already speaks to you, don't forget to subscribe and keep listening, because sometimes the smallest skills make the biggest difference. The first skill is simple, but most people ignore it. It's called tracking your money with awareness, not budgeting in a strict, stressful way, not writing down every number perfectly, just becoming aware of where your money quietly goes. Because here's something surprising. It's not the big expenses that slowly hurt your life. It's the small ones you don't notice. A drink here, a quick order there, a subscription you forgot, a habit you never question. Individually, they feel harmless, almost invisible, but over time, they build a pattern, and that pattern shapes your financial life. Think about this for a moment. Have you ever reached the end of the month and wondered, where did my money go? You try to remember. You replay your days, but everything feels normal. Nothing felt like a mistake. Nothing felt too expensive. And yet, your money is gone. This is the cost of unconscious spending, not overspending, just unobserved spending. And in a world where prices are rising quietly, this becomes even more dangerous. Because when everything costs a little more, every unnoticed decision matters more. So instead of trying to control everything, start with something much smaller. Notice. For the next few days, don't try to change your habits. Don't judge yourself, just observe. Every time you spend money, pause for a second and ask, did I choose this or did I just react? That question alone can change everything because many of our daily expenses are not real choices. They are reactions. You feel tired, so you buy convenience. You feel bored, so you scroll and order something. You feel stressed, so you reward yourself. None of these are wrong. But when they happen automatically, they slowly take control of your money. Awareness breaks that pattern. It gives you a small space between feeling and acting. And in that space, you can decide. Sometimes you'll still spend, and that's okay. But now it's your choice, not your habit. This is how control begins, not with restriction, but with understanding. You don't need an app. You don't need a perfect system. You can write a few notes on your phone, or simply remember the moments that surprised you, like, that coffee was more expensive than I thought. I didn't really need that. I bought this just because I was bored. These small realizations are powerful because once you see them, you can't unsee them. And slowly, without forcing yourself, your behavior begins to shift. You pause more. You think more. You choose more carefully, not because someone told you to save money, but because you finally understand your own patterns. And that understanding is a skill, a quiet one, but a life-changing one. In the next part, we'll explore the second skill, how to make smarter, everyday decisions without feeling deprived. If you've ever felt like money disappears without a reason, this is where things start to become clear. The second skill is not about spending less, it's about choosing better. Because many people hear the idea of saving money and immediately feel resistance. They imagine cutting everything. No small pleasures, no comfort, no freedom. And that feeling doesn't last. It creates pressure, and pressure always leads to giving up. But what if the goal is not to remove joy from your life, but to become more intentional with it? Think about your daily choices, not the big ones, the small, quiet ones you make without thinking: where to eat, what to buy, when to upgrade something, when to wait. These decisions seem unimportant, but together, they define how your money is used. And here's the truth: most people don't choose what is best for them. They choose what is easiest in the moment, the fastest option, the closest option, the most familiar option, and often the most expensive one. Not because they want to spend more, but because they don't pause long enough to see alternatives. So this skill begins with a simple shift from automatic decisions to intentional ones. Before you spend, is ask yourself, is this the best choice for me right now, or just the easiest? That question is powerful because sometimes the easiest option really is the best, and that's okay. But many times, it isn't. Let's imagine a simple situation. You're tired after work, you feel hungry. You open your phone and order food. It feels normal, comfortable, easy. But if you pause for just a moment, you might notice something else. Maybe you already have food at home. Maybe there's a cheaper option nearby. Maybe you're not even that hungry, just tired. Now you have a choice, not forced, not restricted, just visible. And when choices become visible, your power increases. This doesn't mean you always choose the cheaper option. Sometimes you'll still order the food and enjoy it, but now you are aware. And awareness slowly changes your standards. You begin to ask better questions. Is this worth the price? Will I still feel good about this tomorrow? Is there a smarter way to do this? These questions don't limit your life, they refine it. They help you spend on what truly matters and reduce what doesn't. Because surviving rising costs is not about being strict, it's about being selective, choosing what deserves your money, and letting go of what doesn't add real value. Over time, something interesting happens. You don't feel like you're losing anything. Instead, you feel more in control, more calm, more confident in your decisions because your money is no longer reacting to your emotions. It is following your intention, and that is a powerful shift. In the next part, and we'll explore the third skill, a way to protect your money before it even leaves your hands. If you've ever felt like good decisions don't last, this next step will help you make them stick. The third skill is quiet. You don't see it. You don't feel it immediately. But over time, it protects you. It's called creating a barrier between you and impulse spending. Because here's something most people don't realize. Even if you become more aware, even if you make better decisions, you will still have moments of weakness. Everyone does. You feel tired, you feel stressed, you feel like you deserve something. And in that moment, awareness is not always enough. That's when your environment decides for you, not your intention, not your logic, just what is easy. If spending money is easy, you will spend. If it's slightly harder, you might pause. And that pause is everything. So instead of trying to control your feelings, you change your system. You make impulsive decisions a little less convenient, not impossible, just slower. For example, if your card is always saved on your phone, buying something takes seconds. One click, done. No time to think, no space to question. But if you remove your saved card details, now you have to enter them again. It takes longer, just a few extra seconds. But in those seconds, something happens. You think, you hesitate. Sometimes you stop. Another simple example. If shopping apps are always on your home screen, you open them without thinking, out of habit, out of boredom. But if you delete them or move them somewhere harder to reach, you break that automatic behavior. Now, opening the app becomes a choice, not a reflex. These are small barriers, but they create a powerful effect because they protect you in moments when your discipline is low. And let's be honest, discipline is not something you can rely on all the time. Some days you are strong, focused, in control. Other days you are not, and that's normal. So instead of expecting yourself to be perfect, you design your life to support you. You reduce friction for good decisions and increase friction for bad ones. For example, keep simple, affordable food at home so you don't rely on expensive convenience. Set limits on spending apps so you become aware of your usage. Separate your savings from your daily spending so you don't accidentally use it. Each of these actions is small, but together, they create a system. Want a system that quietly guides your behavior even when you're not thinking about it. And this is the real goal. Not to fight yourself every day, but to make good decisions feel natural and bad decisions feel slightly uncomfortable. Over time, you will notice something interesting. You don't need to use willpower as much. You don't feel constant pressure because your environment is working with you, not against you. And that's how you protect your money in a world where it's becoming easier and easier to spend. In the next part, we'll explore the fourth skill, how to build a sense of security, even when everything feels uncertain. If you've ever felt anxious about the future, this next step will help you feel more stable. The fourth skill is not about spending. It's not about saving a few dollars here and there. It's about something deeper. It's about creating a sense of safety for yourself because when life becomes more expensive, the biggest problem is not always money. It's the feeling behind it, uncertainty. You don't know what will cost more next month. You don't know if your income will stay the same. You don't know if something unexpected will happen. And that uncertainty creates stress. Even when things are still okay, you feel uneasy. This is why many people feel tired all the time. Not physically, but mentally. They are always thinking, always calculating, always worrying quietly. So this skill begins with a simple idea. Instead of reacting to problems, you prepare for them. Not in a dramatic way, just little by little. You start building a small buffer, a space between you and uncertainty. For example, you set aside a small amount of money regularly, not a large amount, just something consistent, something realistic. At first, it feels slow, almost meaningless. But over time, it grows. And more importantly, it changes how you feel. Because now, when something unexpected happens, you don't panic immediately. You pause. You breathe. You think, I can handle this. That feeling is powerful. It's not about being rich. It's about having options, even small ones. And here's something important to understand. Security is not built in big moments. It's built in quiet, repeated actions. Every time you choose to save a little, you are creating stability. Every time you avoid an unnecessary expense, you are protecting your future. Every time you think ahead, you are reducing future stress. These actions don't feel exciting. They don't give instant rewards, but they build something much more valuable, peace of mind. And in a world that is constantly changing, peace of mind is rare. Now, you don't need to do everything perfectly. You don't need to save a lot. You don't need to have a perfect plan. You just need to begin. Start small, stay consistent, and trust that small actions become big results over time. So let's take a moment to reflect. In this series, you've seen how small skills can change your life. You've learned to notice your spending, to make better daily choices, to protect yourself from impulse decisions, and now, to create a sense of safety. None of these skills are complicated, but together they create a new way of living, a calmer way, a more intentional way, a way that helps you stay steady, even when the world around you feels unstable. And maybe that's what we all need right now. Not perfection, not control over everything, just enough awareness and stability to move forward with confidence. If this story helped you see your daily life a little differently, stay with us. Subscribe to the channel and continue learning English through real, meaningful stories. Because sometimes improving your English can also improve your life, and your future starts with small choices today.